Imagine, if you will, an amazingly beautifully done recreation of the O2 evolution sequence. Hard cut to extreme child abuse. That is the movie. Let's talk about Digimon Adventure 02, the beginning. Just want to do a quick video talking about this because this kind of helped reignite my love and care for the franchise a little bit, to be honest with you. So first things first, I will be talking about spoilers because I think it's worth talking about. So if you care about spoilers, click off, watch this video later. If you already know some spoilers and you just want to watch this, feel free to keep watching, but I'm going to be very lax with spoilers for this entire video. First things first, what do I think about the movie? I actually quite liked it. I think I like Kizuna more, but not by like much. Most people's initial thoughts are that this is not as good as Kizuna, and it's not, but it also is in some aspects. It's obviously better than Try, and actually it seems to be actively trying to retcon Try, which is interesting because this is a follow-up to Kizuna, because in Kizuna, Izzy, I believe, mentions that there are new Digidestined popping up like every day almost, and that's kind of like it's just a throwaway line in the movie, but this actually kind of explores that and explores the idea of what makes the connections between Digimon and humans. Started that connection, what is it about? And I know that's a big point of contention for a lot of people. We walked in the movie a little late, but I don't think we missed much, because what I saw was the big egg on top of the Tokyo Tower, which I'm pretty sure is the opening. This new character, Rui or Louis, pretty much original, the character, brand new character made for the movie. He looks very edgy, eye patch and all, super Chinobio looking. I gotta say, I did actually warm up to the character. Like, that was the one thing that I thought I was really gonna dislike. I gotta say, he did grow on me, because unlike, let's say, the last time I did this, which is May, unlike May/Mako, I feel like he actively worked through his problems. He didn't need too much reassurance constantly, which was the problem with Mako, because like throughout the last 3 movies, they had to constantly kind of like help her and reassure her, and it got very boring. But with him, yes, he's kind of edgy and quiet and he doesn't really want help, but they do help him work through that, and he does work through that in the end. Now, yes, this is more of a movie about Louis, whatever his name is. It's more about him than it is the O2 kids, but I get why the director said that this movie could have only been done with the O2 kids. In my opinion, the reason why the O2 kids were perfect for this is because just the nature of the original show and that cast, how they work together, and what they've been through, it makes more sense for them to kind of like come to someone like Louis or Rui's help. Even just looking at Ken alone. Ken was like he was like a straight up villain, abused the shit out of his Wormmon, just did horrible things to the entire cast, but they were still able, like, he still got his redemption, they were still able to move on from that, and they all became stronger for it. They all are a really tight-knit group of people, and the thing I like the most about the O2 cast in both Kizuna and this movie is that it shows you that all of them are very close-knit still, and they're very close to their Digimon still, as opposed to the cast from 01/Adventure. They haven't really been as tight-knit, even as soon as you hit our War Game, which is only like I think a year or 2 after the initial ending. They're all pretty splintered, they're all kind of doing their own thing. I feel like the O2 cast has stuck together since the end of 02. They've all become very close friends with each other, with their Digimon, and so a group like this that's been through so much, and they even mention it in the movie, like they mention how like friendships aren't just this happy-go-lucky thing, like you have to work through things. You're gonna fight, you're gonna argue, you're gonna disagree with each other, but at the end of the day, you're still friends, you're still close. And I like that a lot, and I feel like that like undying optimism of the O2 cast did help balance this movie's darker themes and also balance this newer character. We find out that his Digimon, Ukkomon, came to him. God, this is really hard. Honestly, genuinely trigger warning / content warning, because this is gonna get very like dark, because it was shocking. Like me and the group I watched it with, we were completely shocked because I was not expecting this. I saw Digitama Queen's tweet that mentioned that it does deal with abuse. I just didn't think it would go this hard. So when we go inside of the Ukkomon egg that's on top of Tokyo Tower, they go through this whole thing where they go back into the past, into Rui's memories, and in his memories, we see that his father is very sick. He's on a ventilator. It's pretty much like the only thing that's keeping him alive. And his mother is extremely abusive. And she's so mad at him. He's wearing a sweater. She takes his sweater off, and he's actually wearing a tank top underneath. And there's just these huge bruises all over this kid's body, like bad purple bruises all over this kid's body. He's 4 years old. He's really 3. He just turned 4. And he's got these giant bruises all over his body. And she literally locks him outside in the cold. When Ukkomon finally shows up to him, this Digi-Egg, his feet are like red, like beet red, because he's been outside in the cold for so long. Like he was about to get like frostbite. Like pretty, like I was just not expecting that at all. I was like, oh, okay, I can see the mom's a little abusive. But then like that happened, I was like, this is kind of fucked. Ukkomon shows up for him, and then he wishes to like be happier. He wants friends. He wants people to protect him. Ukkomon decides to make that wish come true. A lot of people did not get this plot point, so I'm going to explain it here. His mom comes back outside because she hears him talking. She's like still in like a really angry, bad mood. It's a shot from like his perspective. His mom's head's cut off. Ukkomon's behind his mom, and you hear this loud thud. A piece of snow falls from the roof. All of a sudden, she's like super nice to him. And he mentions that his life was like a dream come true after that. Like his dad just woke up, he was better now. His mom stopped being mean to him. He got friends. Everything was going well. Then we find out that this has all happened because of Ukkomon. Ukkomon essentially controlling everyone around him, forcing them to like him. When he finds that out, he's very upset about that. When he finds out that Digidestin in general, and we'll get to that, Digidestin in general are created because of his wish for more friends to Ukkomon. That is something that Ukkomon decides, okay, this is like what you want, so I'll do this for you. He doesn't like that. He's very upset. His parents collapse, and then Ukkomon shows up and just like revives them almost as like these puppets. And then he's like, what is going on? And Ukkomon's like, well, I did this because I thought it would make you happy. He starts like choking Ukkomon essentially, and it's like very Ava. Like literally the entire screen turns red. He's like holding Ukkomon down. I thought he was going to start strangling him. He doesn't. He gets back up. He starts bashing his Digivice with a hammer, or a baseball bat, sorry. And the Digivice knocks up, hits him in the eye, and he starts bleeding, and Ukkomon immediately gives him his eye. And so now he has this gigantic Digimon eye with his normal eye, which is really weird, which is why his hair's long, covering it, and why he wears the eye patch. And then he's like, I don't want this. I don't want any of this. What are you doing with my life? You're ruining everything. I hate you. Go away. And Ukkomon just turns to goop and just dies, essentially. But once that happens, both of his parents collapse. And a lot of people were like, oh, I don't understand why both the parents collapse. Because Ukkomon kills the mom, like, when we first see him. Like, he killed her. That's the point. He killed her to protect Ruli, which, I mean, he did. The mom was super abusive anyway. But still, like, he kills the mom. He pulls the dad off the thing that was keeping him alive, so the dad's been dead. And that's why they both collapse, because they've both been dead for, like, over 8 years, I want to say, and he's just been controlling them. That's kind of his backstory, and that takes up most of the movie, is finding out his backstory. So once we find that out, turns out, oh god, it's almost 12 o'clock. By the way, what day is your birthday? It's a leap year. He's born in a leap year, and it's 12 o'clock. It's his birthday. So giant big Ukkomon shows up, which looks straight up out of Evangelion. It literally looks like an angel, and it's creating a bunch of Digitama to give to everybody. It wants to give everyone in the world a Digitama so that everyone can be a chosen children or a Digidestin. They pretty much have Louis, Ruri go in to Ukkomon one more time, and they have a really nice heart-to-heart. They realize that like both of them don't really know much about each other, and they promise to each other that they'll restart one day. And so he gives the O2 cast the go-ahead to pretty much kill him. That's pretty much the movie. At the end, because they killed Ukkomon, and Ukkomon is responsible for creating the Digivices start to disappear. And my heart dropped, because I thought we were going to have a Kizuna moment where all the Digimon disappear. But they didn't, because their bonds are so strong that they stayed with them, because they're still an integral part of their lives. A Digivice can't stop that. I thought that was really pretty. I thought it was beautiful. The snow is falling on the ground, and it reminded me a lot of the last Calvin and Hobbes comic strip. It's a day after the snowfall, and he's like, oh, it's like a brand new day. Snow is perfect. No one stepped on it yet. It's like a completely brand new start. It's a new day. I feel like that was what they were intending here. I think that's why it's called The Beginning. It's not just because talking about the beginning of Digidestin and why they exist, but it's also a new beginning for the adventure timeline in general. They have a snowball fight with each other, and Louis Rui still has the Digi-Egg in his hand, and I just kept thinking of this funny joke, like imagine if he accidentally throws the Digi-Egg at someone and just splats. That didn't happen though. They have a fun time. The movie cuts to credits. At the end credits, there's an end credits scene, shows the Digi-Egg about to hatch. So he's gonna meet his friend one more time and they're gonna start over. Like I said, a lot of people are upset about that. I actually really like this. I like this idea of like starting new. After this, I am personally done with the 01 cast and the 02 cast. I feel like this is a nice epilogue for the 02 cast because, to be honest with you, there is really not that much to do with these two casts. I really don't feel like there's more adventures that could be had that doesn't feel like treading old ground. And I think that's what they were trying to do here, is make a new story that includes the cast, but also acts as a little epilogue, because we get to see where everyone is now in their lives. They're older, and all of them have integrated their Digimon with their lives. They're all very happy. They all have formed these strong bonds. They all still hang out with each other. I feel like there is more you could tell in this universe, specifically in the Digimon Adventure universe. And I feel like this leaves the door open to tell more stories in this universe that don't include the original kids. And I like that. Whether or not this new character shows up in those movies is up in the air, but I do think it'd be interesting to explore this world a bit more, how everything's going to work now, especially now that there are no more Digivices. Now let's get into, the obvious things that people are upset about, which is like the canon, which like, I want you guys to look me in the eyes right now. I really want you to look me in the eyes. Is it really that important? Like, does that really matter?
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you
We don't care.
As if the Digimon Adventure continuity / canon wasn't already a fucking mess when the original 02 aired. I don't know why everyone's hung up about this. I'm sorry. It's true. I really don't care. Like, I'm not someone that's like, the canon when it comes to Digimon Adventure, because Digimon Adventure is, like I said, a fucking mess. I really don't care about, like, what are the implications of the canon, because they keep it intentionally vague, where we, like, obviously Ukkomon dies and all the Digivices disappear, so, like, Ukkomon's definitely responsible for that, but, like, what is Ukkomon connected to? We have no idea. Like, is he connected to, like, Ganai's people, because they were implied to have created the original Digivices? Does he have some kind of connection with homeostasis, which is something else they mentioned in the movie? Does it matter? I don't really care. At the end of the day, they wanted to tell a story, and they wanted to try to relieve themselves from the shackles of the original 02 epilogue, which everyone complained about previously. Now everyone wants it to line up with that for some reason. Overall, I do think it's a good movie. I thought it was very interesting. It reignited my love for Digimon because of the simple fact of it's just different. It did something different. They could have done Kizuna 2, literally. They could have literally just did Kizuna again, changed the ending, and this is almost kind of that, but it's not the same. They do a lot of different things here, and I like it. I like the really creepy, weird tone that this movie has. I like the fact that it's not too action heavy. The last action segments are nice to see. They're very well animated, but I like, why do we need them fighting every 5 seconds? Like, I like the fact that they were focused more on, like, just telling this new story than just worrying solely on fan service, because there is a lot of fan service here. They pull out their old D3s, even though they still have the new cell phone Digivices from Kizuna. They do the Jawgrass evolutions. They do the other evolutions. They redid all the evolution animations. Like, that's, and seeing the characters all together again, and also some of the cameos that are here, that's fan service enough for me. Like, I don't need, like, more evolutions and more like action and stuff like that. And I feel like a lot of people, just because it didn't have the unga bunga kind of like generic, let's just do this because we need to do this stuff, they didn't like it. But I do think, like, this movie does stand pretty well on its own 2 feet as its own experience, which is really something fucking else. Like, a lot of people said, like, oh, this could have been with any other cast, and I don't think so. I really don't, because if this was with any other, like, generic Digimon cast, like, if they made a new one, I don't think this movie would have done as well. I think the fact that we have this new tone and this new character balanced with the old characters, I think that works. That's pretty much my review of the movie, is that I think it's good. I like it. It's very weird. It's definitely not what I was expecting, but at the same time, I came in with zero expectations. I had no idea what to expect. I'm glad it ended up the way it did. I do think it's a good movie, and I would like to see more in the Adventure universe. Would I like to see it with the casts from Adventure? No, but I would like to see where this future lies with this universe. I hope you guys enjoyed this movie. Let me know what you think in the comments. Feel free to fight about it. This is like Ghost Game, where this and Ghost Game have been very divisive amongst fans, but I think that's good. I don't think like Digimon's never been much of a thing to appeal to everyone, even its own fan base. So I'm cool with it continuing to do weird shit like this. I'm all here for it. As long as it's got Digimon on the name, I'm willing to check it out, and I'm always pretty happy with the results personally.